guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'm very excited to do because I'm going to do a review for you of the newly launched Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to show you how I created this holiday-ish like neutral look. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Eve and I love all things beauty. If you enjoy makeup reviews and especially eyeshadow palettes, give this video a like, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. Without further ado, let's dive in. Talking about this newly launched Ethereal Eyes eyeshadow palette from Makeup by Mario. This is a holiday launch that was just recently announced. Later on in the video, I will show you a tutorial how I created this look, what's going on my eyes. This is the size of my palette in my hand, and the outside packaging looks like this. This is the black matte carton. Ingredient list right in the back of the packaging. This palette was manufactured in USA and assembled in the Dominican Republic. Shelf life is 12 months. This palette is gluten-free and cruelty-free. The component itself is matte white. In the back of the palette, there is a sticker with the information of shades. No names on the shades here. They just name as EE1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. The packaging feels a really nice, weighted and sturdy. It does have a magnetic closure. There is a full-size mirror. Mine is still sealed with a protector. And here we have 12 eyeshadows, and we have multiple formulas. This palette retails for $68. It's described as multi-finish eyeshadow palette. There's suede mattes, natural metallics, and first ever glossy shimmers. The first palette that came to my mind was this Tartelette in Bloom eyeshadow palette. And you guys can see how similar these color stories are. There's a little bit more depth in the Tarte palette. As far as the color story, yes, there's a lot of similarity. However, the formulas are very, very different. The shimmers are very different between these two palettes. Tarte shimmers are more of that full pigment. They are more on the subtle side, while the Mario shimmers are high shine, glimmery shades. Another palette that I thought of to compare it to is the Natural Nudes by Too Faced. You can definitely see the similarity between the tones, and the shimmers in the Too Faced palettes are also very lovely. However, not as glimmery as the Makeup by Mario. I'm holding a Nabla side-by-side eyeshadow palette, neutral color story. However, it's a little bit more extended. It does have a few brighter pops of colors like the gold and a rosy shimmer. Of course, we have a black and white, and Nabla formula is also very lovely, one of my favorites to work with. There are definitely some similar tones within the neutrals. Needless to say that the formulas are very, very different between both shimmers and mattes. This time I will give you my roundup thoughts. This palette was just delivered to me yesterday, and of course I dug my fingers in it right away, and I wore it probably for a good half a day yesterday. And I do have some thoughts on that, how eyeshadows wore, which I'll share with you in just a little bit. Let's just go one by one and talk about everything. A few things that I wanted to say about the packaging It's very well made, and it does look like a makeup artist created it because it's just so minimalistic. There are no shade names, there's no wasted space, pretty nice and sturdy because it's supposed to be durable. It's meant to be used all the time. One thing that I do not personally like about this palette, and it's again my absolute personal preference, that it is white. When I opened this palette yesterday outside of the packaging, which was completely brand new unopened box, there's glitter all over it and it does not come off. I don't know how it came out of the palette. Maybe it was just like a packaging factory process, but it's not visible on camera. When I look at it closely, I see glitter speckles everywhere. So it kind of bothers me because I like to keep my makeup really clean, especially my eyeshadows. I clean all my makeup after I use it and before I put it away into my storage units. If I use this quite often, I definitely see this packaging getting dirty quickly. I don't think I need to talk about the color story really here. This is as basic a neutral color story as it can get. It's a different story for a formula, and we will get to this in just a moment. If you're a neutrals lover, I'm pretty sure you already have 1, 2, or maybe more of these colors, of all these colors in your drawer, in your little stash. There's nothing innovative as far as the colors go. When you touch this matte formulas with your finger, they are all consistent. I didn't encounter any duds in this palette. All these mattes feel velvety on touch. They have this softness to them. These matte shadows really blend themselves. It is so effortless. It is just really so easy to blend them. They do build up a good amount. I find all these matte shades be true to color when you apply them on your lids. Like I said, they are very blendable and slightly buildable. I can't say that you will be able to build up a lot of color. One thing that I notice is that if you blend long enough, you actually blend away the color. It's a good thing and it's not a good thing. So my recommendation with these mattes is like blend it, but don't over blend it. For today's look, I went with this holiday-ish smoky eye, and I wanted to build up the depth as much as I could. And I have to say one thing, that this darkest matte, this is as dark as I could get it. I actually wanted to do a deeper outer corner and I couldn't. This is as far as this color would allow me. And as you saw me do in a tutorial, I ended up going into Natasha Denona, my dream palette, and pulling out the black shade and using it for my eyeliner. Personally, for me, I'm really missing a dark matte black shade here. A lot of times when I use a neutral palette for this type of look, when I would do a smoky eye, I like to pack my darkest matte in the outer corner. I have to say that I struggled with packing this shade because it is so blendable that it almost would blend away in those areas. And as far as the shimmers, these two shades, they are fully pigmented shimmers and they're really nice and creamy on touch. You can apply them with brush or finger. If you really want a full impact from these two shades, I would say either spray your brush or apply it with a finger as a top layer. These three shimmers, they are more of your toppers. They do have a transparent base to them. The effect of them really reminds me of topper shades from Sigma Beauty. That soft but very glimmery effect that picks up on a light so beautifully, and it's that very sophisticated glimmer. It's not that like heavy shimmer or anything like that. However, there's a ton of glitter fallout from these shades. So when I try to clean up under my eyes, the glitter stays. I would definitely recommend you do your eyes first. This light shade right here, this is more of your like lid setting shade. It doesn't have too much of an opacity. Overall, I enjoy the palette. I think the quality is very interesting. And to my opinion, this is a formula that you cannot mess up. The formulas blended into each other really easily. I didn't encounter any difficulties with blending or layering any of the shades. The main question here, is it worth your money? I would say it is a very expensive palette. It is $68. Yes, the formula is lovely and it's easy to work with, but it is your money. I cannot tell you that you need to go and buy that palette, that you need it. You definitely do not, because you've seen this color story once and once again from different brands. One thing that I wanted to mention, that when I wore this palette yesterday and I had a very similar look, as the day progressed, I had more fallout from these glitter eyeshadows, and I did apply them yesterday by spraying the brush, and I still experienced a lot of glitter fallout. So just something to consider. I did not pay at a full price for this palette. I did use my Rouge 20% off on this palette. Even with saving a few dollars on it, I still think that this is an expensive palette. If you know you're going to use this palette, then I would recommend you go and get it right now. This is a good time when the sales event is going on. Is it a unique color story? No. Do you need this palette? Probably not. If you neutrals love, you probably already have all these shades a million and one time. Okay guys, this sums up my video. I hope you enjoyed it, found it helpful. If you did like this video, give it a thumb up, and I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me today, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye.